Another problem in our society is the ignorance in the requirement of energy for the benefit of all. So my fellow friends from Global Indian International School have come up with a way of producing energy from playground equipment. Imagine being able to produce energy while you're playing on a merry-go-round or even a swing. So now let's give it up for Kushal Gupta and Mark D'Souza and their project PowerAid.
Good morning. I'm Kushal Gupta,
And I'm Mark.
and we're from GIIS Chinchwad. And our project today is PowerAid. Before we start, I would like to just say what an honor it is to be presenting the works of a business plan right after seeing some of the most amazing entrepreneurs in front of us. Yeah.
All right, so we'd like to begin our presentation by asking a simple question. Has anyone in the audience heard of Earth Overshoot Day? If you have, just raise your hand. You have, right? And yeah, so for those of you who don't know what it is, every year an international think tank known as Global Footprint Network assigns a day in the year in which humanity consumes more resources than Earth can reproduce in a year. And sadly, we just passed that day 4 days ago on August 1st. And that, as human beings, we as human beings should be slightly concerned. The reason we are telling you this is because it kind of points in the direction of our topic today, and that is self-sustainability. And so that's where we present our startup, PowerAid. Sorry for the small print. PowerAid is a startup company which believes in serving the society by helping housing societies generate some of their own electricity. So we will explain how it goes.
Yeah. So our objectives as a company that will make its goal for sustainable future is what we're going to be doing is using children playground equipment such as swings, merry-go-rounds, and slides, and other things as well to generate electricity. Now, what this will do is create a sustainable future. We're going to get to the use of wasted potential in the phase 2 of our project and increases efficiency. Along with this, what it also does is creates a social impact, because the electricity that we will be producing won't just be used by the housing societies, it will also be used by the villages and the rural areas around the society. For example, I live in Park Street, and there is a huge slum area right behind it. And if we applied all the equipment that we will be showing you in Park Street, we could be producing enough electricity for ourselves to sustain and the villages behind it.
So in terms of installing the equipment, our startup doesn't have a regular source of income. It's more order-based. And as such, we cannot hire technicians on a full-time basis. So we follow the policy of hiring people who are capable of implementing the equipment or introducing the equipment into these parks on a needs-served basis. Of course, we will have full-time employees once the startup experiences some growth, but we're just showing you a basic idea of how it will be in the beginning.
So to begin with the market, it's an esoteric field with not much competition, and it's ripe for a noble idea such as ours to generate electricity from a very normal everyday task, marketing. Our marketing will be done by providing incentives to big housing societies for referrals. That's one of the main ways. Second one would be social media, and the third one would probably be talking about how in this day and age where there's a new housing society coming up every day, this could be a very influential product that we could be introducing into the market. The overview. So as the chain of events that would be taking place for us to develop this product would be acquiring funds from the society itself that we will be implementing these in. Funds used to install the equipment would then provision of regular maintenance, generation of profits, future development plans for the company. I would like to talk about the second phase of this project. One would be the using of playgrounds and playground equipment to generate electricity. Second one would be the usage of sewage water plants to generate electricity. Now, if you know that how sewage water plants basically work is, from every building in a society, the water goes into a one joint junction where it's then transferred to the plant. In this junction, we would, well, I'll get to that part later, the implementation of it.
All right, so now we're going to talk about the physics behind our equipment so that you guys can have a better understanding. So we will be talking about four pieces of equipment in the playground: the merry-go-round, swings, slides, and finally the sewage treatment plant. So seeing the merry-go-round, the merry-go-round uses the technology used in windmills, the rotational motion, where the motion will drive a generator which will be situated in the middle of the merry-go-round, which in turn will produce electricity, will be sent to a capacitor through underground wiring, and this can be used for however the society wishes, preferably though to power the lights in the park at night. For those of you who are wondering whether this being windmill technology will be kind of costly, it's not, because this is also used in bicycles to power their headlights. Coming to swings, to generate electricity in swings, we'll be using the concept of electromagnetic induction, where a curved coil will be situated within the overhead bar, and the magnet will be attached to each of the handles of the swing. So every time a person swings, the coil moves inside the coil, and this generates electricity, and like in the merry-go-round, it will be transferred to a capacitor through underground wiring.
Now coming to the slides and steps, we will be using a technology known as piezoelectricity. This is the technology that generates electricity using pressure. And so when the child climbs on top of the slide, it'll generate electricity. Then electric current generation will be generated upon mechanical stress once going down the slide as well. And all of this, like Mark already said, will go, all the energy generated will go and get stored in the capacitors. Now coming to the sewage water treatment plant. Now if you can see that there is the junction is, it's going to be here. Now what happens here is we will introduce a water turbine in the junction. So when the water flows, due to the motion of the water, the turbine will rotate and it will generate electricity. And then it'll again get stored into the capacitor.
So having a startup does not mean only talking about the ideas we have, but how we're going to manage it, namely in financial terms. So in the beginning, we intend on taking some loans from banks to get the business running. But once we have orders, so the process works in a way that we receive a certain amount of money, the required amount of money from a housing society, where the part of that money will be used to implement the equipment, and the other part, which is a profit, will be stored for future expansion. We estimate the cost per implementation to be around rupees 84,000, since we're only modifying the equipment, we're not building new equipment. However, we think it's important to mention that this may vary depending on what kind of stuff they have there, and also other factors. In terms of opportunities, we intend on growing by firstly providing incentives to all our customers, so that they in a way they can promote our cause. We also hope to collaborate with major builders, because this helps us in three ways. Number one, it helps in our eco-friendly concept. Secondly, in terms of cost, it helps because then we don't have to modify something, we can order in bulk. And the third implementation is that it's easier to change or put our idea while it's being constructed rather than modifying already built equipment. We also hope to collaborate with the government for a social service where we may, for example, implement these ideas in the parks, public parks. And this can, like Kushal said earlier, go to the welfare of the underprivileged, for example, in slums. We hope to expand to all parts of the country in the next 4 to 5 years.
Coming to our production plan, Powerade does not require a manufacturing body. As Mark already said, we will not be creating any new equipment, just adding, basically it's a service-based plan. So instead of making things, we will just be introducing already built things and combining those with the playground equipment already. This will help us reduce cost of production. Plus, we will be buying all the materials we need in bulk. That too will reduce the cost of production.
Also, in terms of installment, it will only take 1 to 1.5 days. And so that really is a factor which can drive our growth. Finally, setting up the business. The setting up the business will take approximately 4 months. During this time, we have included the legal requirements and paperwork for the formation of the company, as well as bank accounts. Our goal is to find a suitable wholesale vendor after comparing quotations from multiple vendors. This creates a system, a more efficient system. Of course, the placement of the order will be done on account of demand, as mentioned earlier. And the advertisement, as well as the formation of business cards, will be done within a month. By the end of 3 months, we expect to have successfully completed 2 orders and have been working on the 3rd one. Thank you. Anyone has any questions? Even suggestions? Yeah? Yes, sir?
Sir.
How much power will be generated per installation roughly? Have you calculated it?
Well, we have for the sewage treatment plant, but for the merry-go-rounds, it's hard to say depending on the usage. But the power generated won't be used for, say, powering a house. That's not the purpose. It will be used for smaller uses. For example, in case of the villages, powering the lights, or maybe powering the lights.
As you know, the condition of electricity in rural areas is very low. So in order to increase that, just by providing a little bit of electricity that we generate on a regular basis could prove very beneficial for them, if not very efficient for, if not very impactful for us.
Just a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Compared to taking the electricity from the municipality, which at a certain cost, like how much time would it take to break even, considering instead of earning money, the money saved? How much time would it roughly take to break even?
Can you repeat the question? I couldn't hear you properly.
Suppose I could buy electricity from the municipality at, for example, a certain rate, and from your system it's generated for free, right? So then how much time would I take, based on the money saved, to roughly break even in terms of savings?
That again is very hard to say because it depends on the rates.
It depends upon from society to society. It depends upon the equipment we've installed.
Not only that, it depends on the rates which you will have to pay for electricity in that area. But the idea is to at least make certain parts sustainable, if not all the parts. It's more like a step towards something, a first step.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
I do have a follow-up question again. You said for the sewage treatment plant, but how much probably the investment you need to do for that?
Pardon?
For
How much?
sewage treatment plant, to install your services, how much investment generally you need?
Well, sewage treatment plants, most societies have sewage treatment plants today, so the modifications needed would only be a turbine, actually.
Okay.
And so depending on the cost of the turbine, we haven't done that, but
is
depending
very
on the
good.
cost, it shouldn't be that much. Like I said before, it's only modification. We're not building anything new.
Okay, thank you.
Mark, one question, quick.
Yes?
So, how much of this is real, or is this just at an idea stage?
This is an idea stage, sir.
No, actually, this is being implemented in a playground, I think in Baner itself, where they're converting electricity from, I think, swings. But this happened, I think it's still under development, I'm not really sure, but they're trying to implement this right now as well.
Okay.
One social question. I heard you talking about slums and not slums and something like that. And I was really little bit disturbed.
Yes.
Because it's a chance that you are born in some good family, and so there is a chance that you are born in slum. That is one. And secondly, what does that mean? That slums should produce the electricity and rich kids should play the games in the computer, or what?
No.
That's not. What we're saying is that electricity generated by the housing societies itself will be distributed to the nearby slums as well. So the electricity that we're generating in our housing societies will be given out to the nearby villages. Does that answer your question?
I'm just raising my concern.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get electricity from the municipality on a daily basis, and we're not dependent on anything for that electricity. In fact, we pay for it. So there are no other external factors influencing it. But if I use this, then I need to go on the merry-go-round or the swing on a daily basis, and if I don't go there, I don't get electricity.
First of all, this electricity that we're generating isn't going to be used by you to, let's say, power your TV or your refrigerator. It's going to be used to, let's say, power the street lamps or power the lesser energy requiring appliances. And like you're saying, how many? Where do you live?
I live in Balewadi.
Yeah. Do you live in a housing society?
Yeah.
So do you have small kids in your society?
Yeah.
Do they play on the merry-go-round?
Yes, they do. But if they don't, then and even if I am not using it, someone is using it, right? And you can't cut off their electricity supply because no one is playing them.
We're not cutting off
We're not
anyone's
cutting off the
electricity
supply.
You will still be able to buy the electricity from the municipal corporation, but you won't be needing as much as you need right now. Plus, we're focusing more on the social impact as well, and that argument of them not playing, when does it happen that they don't play?
You can't. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Maybe in your society where the kids are less.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that children usually go monkeys when they play in the playground. So while they are using the merry-go-round or while they are playing on the swing, they might, you have those
Insulated.
Yeah. So what if it gets damaged while playing? So
we're providing them with regular maintenance as well. And if the question is of the kids' safety, everything is insulated and covered, and they will be protected.
yeah, so as long as that is taken care of, it's a very nice idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With another question.
As you said that the swings and the merry-go-round power the street lights, but during monsoon, children don't go and play on the merry-go-rounds and the swings. So what will you do to the street lights then?
It is a seasonal thing, and then what we depend upon is our sewage water treatment plant. So we do have a backup for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
The swings and the merry-go-round. For example, I suppose I have a small solar panel installation on my street lights. How can you compete with something like solar, assuming there's a battery to store a charge? Even you guys have a battery to store charge. How will your system compete with a solar panel, with solar or something like that, like solar street lights, like which charge during the day and have lights during, and which are discharged during the night? How will you compete with that?
Well, firstly, any solar panel requires a lot of maintenance.
And plus the
generally.
cost of installment of those.
But would it be cheaper? Are
in
you guys
India-
cheaper than solar panels? That's my question.
Yeah, because usually a single solar panel may easily, if it's for efficient solar panel, very well cost over $1 lakh. But the thing is, in India, solar panels is still a relatively upcoming field. Maybe in the future we can add this as an add-on, but right now it really doesn't seem that practical. But like you said, we can add that. Thank you.
Do you still have it out? Here. Well, this will be the last question we will take.
No? All right.
So as you said that you're going to buy these things in bulk.
Yeah.
So each equipment costs like 84,000 as you mentioned. So we
Oh,
do
in bulk.
yeah.
No, if we're counting the total cost of all 3 equipments, then it would be 84,000, including the turbine.
And you said that you're going to use for housing societies. You're
Yes.
going to take the money from the housing societies.
Yes.
So do you think that you're giving very less power consumption? So like you can only like light street lamps. So you can't light up appliances. So why would the housing society give you the money for making these equipments?
One thing that would be incentive for them would probably be that they would be able to call themselves a more eco-friendly society if they're self-sustaining, which is a good sales pitch for them.
And also, this is a long-term kind of a thing where the costs of saving, if you were to install this equipment in your park, the costs saved would be seen more in the long term rather than the short term. And sir, you had one last question. Sir, yeah.
Just a suggestion that
Yeah.
I see very interesting point in your proposal, which is children generating the energy.
Yeah.
And your company name looks like very adult, Power Grid and something like that. Powerade. So why not you change the entire branding of your company where the children are producing power and somebody else is using that power? That's a very, very, very amazing argument in the world.
The logo, change the logo and the name.
No, change the
Yeah,
whole
because
idea of it to be more child.
Second is
Child-centric.
one of the output. A lot of people are asking about the return on investment.
Yes.
You can connect it to the happiness of children when they are playing.
The human factor.
Yeah, human factor.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of change which is happening on return on investment. What you call as investment and what is the return on that. So one of the output is going to be the happiness and entire enjoyment you do in your life as the outcome, and not necessarily only money.
True.
So I think if you write your business plan in a very different way, very uniquely, it would really take up.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Just 2 quick points. So one is that you should change the name from Powerade to something else, because Powerade is a sports drink.
Powerade.
But it sounds the same. Right?
Yeah, that's.
Secondly, your value proposition should also include the fact that, like Parag was saying, that kids, will be detached from their mobiles and tablets and go into playgrounds and actually play in the real world, right? So that's something that
Maybe we could
I
add an
guess.
incentive in the playground itself that they're generating the electricity for.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just from a messaging point of view. Yeah. Anyway, good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.